guys, welcome back to Miss Anna's at-home science lab. We are going to be doing part 2 of our second week. All right, you're going to be working to earn 5 stars throughout this lesson. When you earn those 5 stars, you can choose from a desired activity that you have chosen with your family member, caregiver, or teacher. Let's go over the steps to testing an idea. You need to listen to the question, make a prediction, analyze the information, and check your prediction to make a conclusion. Let's watch this anticipatory set to find out what we're going to be learning about today.
Wall Street, Willie. When I went to the doctors, they asked me for my health insurance. But what is health insurance anyway? Health insurance is insurance that covers health-related expenses, like a doctor's visit, hospitalization, medicines, and many more. But to get this facility, you have to pay a certain amount to the health insurance company on an ongoing basis, which is called a premium. Is the premium the same for everyone?
It is different for everyone.
It is different for everyone, and can depend on many factors, like the kind of insurance you buy, your age, your health condition, your employer,
Well, what are the different kinds of health insurance?
Health insurance can be broadly classified into two types. One has a deductible, and the other is a copay. The deductible one is where you need to pay the expenses up to a certain amount every year. For example, $2,000 before the insurance company starts paying for your medical bills. So, for example, if you have $2,000 of hospitalization, then you would have to pay for all of that $2,000. But if you have anything after that, then the insurance company would pay for it because you have already paid your deductible. And copay is where you have to pay a certain amount every time you visit a doctor or a hospital. For example, if the copay was $50 and the doctor visit cost $200, you would pay $50, which is the amount of the copay, and the insurance company would pay $150.
All right, guys, thanks for watching that with me. So, based on what we just heard, what do you think that we are going to learn about today? Do you think we'll be learning about health insurance? Or do you think we'll be learning about space? Or do you think we'll be learning about Walmart? That's right, we're going to be learning about health insurance today. Good job, you guys have earned 1 star. So remember, overall, we are learning to identify where to go to get medical care based on a medical problem. And today, our last day to focus on community medical care, we're learning how to pay and what information you need to bring with you to the doctor. Here are our steps to synthesizing knowledge. Listen to the teacher. Listen to the whole lesson. Think about the information now and think about the information later. Here are some vocabulary terms that we will need to know throughout the lesson. First, we have medical bill. A medical bill is the amount of money you owe the doctor or the hospital. Then we have health insurance card. This is a card that has your insurance information on it. Now, how do I pay for medical care? Let's find out. Well, it depends. Do you have insurance? If yes, you do have insurance, then you're going to be paying a copayment or a deductible, just like in the video we just watched. We'll talk more about this in a minute. If the answer is no, you do not have insurance, then you're going to be paying with medical bills. Usually you will get these medical bills billed to your house after you are at the hospital or the doctor's. These are probably going to be some pretty hefty, big amounts of money if you do not have health insurance. It's going to be a lot more money than if you do have health insurance and pay a copayment or deductible. All right, let's learn about deductibles. So a deductible is an amount of money that you have to pay before the insurance company will cover the rest. That's kind of confusing. Let's check out an example. So again, it's the amount that you must pay for covered healthcare services before your health insurance will kick in. So if Luke's deductible is $2,000, his insurance won't pay for anything until he has paid $2,000 himself for covered healthcare costs. If he requires hospitalization that costs $3,000, then he would pay the $2,000 deductible, and the plan would pay for a portion of the remaining $1,000. Okay, and it would be based on his specific plan. So if he did not have medical insurance, though, he would have to pay the whole $3,000 by himself. Yikes. Now let's talk about copays. Copays are a fixed amount that you pay for a health service. Let's watch this video to learn more about copays.
Benefit plans often use terms you may not be familiar with. One of the more common terms is a copay.
One of the more common terms is a
short for
copay.
copayment, is
A
a fixed
copay,
set
short for
amount of money
copayment,
you
is a
must pay
fixed
each
set
and every
amount of
time
money
you
you
visit the
must
doctor
pay
or
each
need
and every
medication
time
when
you
using
visit the
your health
doctor or
insurance
need
plan.
medication when using your health
The
insurance
amount of the
plan.
copay is preset by
The
your
amount
insurance
of the
provider.
copay is preset by your insurance provider
No
and will be the
how often
same
you use
fixed
the plan.
amount no matter
Whether
how
that is
often you
once a
use the
year
plan,
or 20 times
whether
a
that
year.
is once a year or 20 times a year.
Generally, you'll be asked to pay your copay
Generally,
while
you'll be
actually at
asked
the
to pay
doctor's
your
office
copay
or
while
pharmacy.
actually at the doctor's
Typically,
office
for
or
plans with
pharmacy.
copays, the
Typically,
set amount
for
will
plans
vary
with
based on the
copays,
type
the
of
set
doctor or
amount will vary
prescription
based
being
on the
used.
type of
For
doctor or
example,
prescription being
a
used.
primary care
For
physician
example,
may have a
a
different
primary
copay
care
amount from a
physician may have a
specialist,
different
such as an
copay amount
orthopedist
from
or
a specialist,
dermatologist.
such as an
And a
orthopedist
brand
or
name prescription may
dermatologist.
have a
And
different
a
copay
brand name
amount from a
prescription may
generic
have a
version of the
different copay
prescription.
amount from a generic version of a prescription.
Right, hopefully that helped clear some things up about copays. So copay is just a set amount. Let's say your copayment on your insurance is $30 each time that you go to the primary care physician. So if you went one time a year, you would pay $30. If you went 10 times a year, you would pay $30 each of those 10 times that you go if your copayment was $30. All righty. Now let's talk about medical bills. Ooh, it's scary just to see a picture of a medical bill. This is the amount of money that you owe the medical provider. Okay, so if you do not have health insurance, your medical bills are going to be a whole lot of money. If you do have insurance, you may still have medical bills, but they should be smaller amounts than they would have been without insurance. Medical bills usually come to your house after your insurance has been checked into or after your doctor's or hospital visit. It will look something like this. It usually will have the amount at the top And it will tell you what you are being charged for. If you do have insurance, it will tell you the amount that your insurance covers. It will also have an envelope in there where you can write a check or write your credit card information to pay your medical bill and then mail it back and your bill will be paid. Okay, here's some steps to critical thinking and problem solving. So listen to the question, listen to all your answer choices, think about your choices, answer the question by choosing one of the answer choices. All right, let's do it. So, do I need separate insurance for the dentist? That's the tooth doctor. Yes or no? Do you think you need separate insurance for the dentist? Make a guess. Yes, so we haven't talked much about this, but there is separate insurance for the dentist and for the eye doctor. You would pay this separately, and it would be a whole separate plan. All right, fantastic job. You guys have earned 2 stars. How do I know which option to choose for medical care? So how do we know what to choose? We've seen this before in our last week's lesson. Well, this gets a little bit more complicated. So you choose based on the medical problem first, okay? So you would choose, okay, do I need to go to the emergency room, to urgent care, or to the primary health care, or primary care physician? Or if it's something to do with your eyes or ears, you may choose to go to a different doctor. Okay, but also you should choose based on who accepts your medical insurance. You have insurance. Not everyone will accept your insurance. You have to check. And you want them to cover your insurance so that you're not paying for insurance that you're not using. Here's just a little graph to show you guys a comparison of urgent care versus an emergency room. So at urgent care, you usually don't have to wait as long. It's usually a shorter wait, whereas emergency room is usually a very, very long wait. Co-payments. So usually you pay less money, your co-payment is usually less for urgent care and very, very high for the emergency room. Okay, and of course we talked about this. If your condition is less serious, you could go to urgent care. But if it's life-threatening, you definitely need to go to the emergency room. This can help you choose, if you are in an urgent or emergency situation, where to go. So, does every doctor take my health insurance? Yes or no? No. Every doctor does not take your health insurance, but when you call to make an appointment, you can ask the receptionist, or you can check online. Okay, what information should you bring to the doctor? What are you going to need to bring with you? Well, first, you need your health insurance card if you have insurance. Second, you need your personal information. If you have an ID, it's a great time to use it. If not, you need to know your name, your phone number, address, and other important personal information. And third, you will need to bring a form of payment because you may be asked to pay your copay at the doctor's office. Amazing job. You guys have earned 3 stars. We have a new vocabulary term that I would like to introduce to you guys. It's personal information. This is private information that can be used to identify you. So we're going to practice with personal information, and we're going to look at some different charts and forms that you may be asked to fill out one day. So what I'm going to do is jump through and you can pause the video on the slide that you would like to practice. You do not have to do all of them. You can pick one, or each student can do a different one. You guys can come up to the board and write on them, or write using the annotation feature on your iPad, because this will be different for every student. It's based on your personal information. You can choose this one. It has practice with your first, middle, and last name. This slide lets you practice writing your address, which is where you live. This slide is asking for your parent or your caregiver's phone number. This may be very important because they may ask for an emergency contact, someone they can call if they need to get in touch with someone to help you. Here's a more standard form if you'd like to practice this. It has more information on it. Here's a form that has lots of different information as well. Now, typically the forms at the doctor's office will not have pictures, but this is a good way that we can practice. Okay, great job, you guys, practicing writing your personal information. So next up, we're going to do our diversity piece. So we need to listen to the lesson. We want to talk about how does it apply in the school, how does it apply in the community, and how does it apply in the world. And by the way, you guys are doing an awesome job and you have earned 4 stars. Way to go. Okay, here's our diversity piece.
Healthcare consistently polls as one of the top issues for American voters going into the 2020 election. A lot of people who aren't happy with the American healthcare system seem to think we should adopt the Canadian way. Others say Canada's system isn't as good as it sounds. Tonight, we're going to look at the basics of both systems. America and Canada, allies in politics, rivals in sports. We've got a lot of things in common. We both speak English for one, though they're pretty good at French too. We both love Celine Dion and Garth Brooks. There are some differences, however. Baseball, that's our national pastime. Theirs is hockey. They also like the metric system. We still use the king's foot for our measurements. But no subject whatsoever gets more attention when drawing discrepancies between the two North American neighbors like healthcare. In America, liberals tend to lionize the Canadian system. Conservatives pan it. So what are the facts? First, the histories. The U.S. healthcare system sprung up mostly during the Industrial Revolution. Factories were dangerous, and emerging unions fought to have employers pay for injuries and illnesses workers got on the job. In Canada, this guy, Tommy Douglas, developed their single-payer system in the 1960s. Some polls say he's more popular in Canada than Wayne Gretzky. Canadians pay taxes for their health care, and each province or territory provides medically necessary services with that money. But here's a catch. Each province or territory gets to decide what medically necessary means. There are a lot of different estimates, but Consumers Mutual says the average Canadian pays about $160 per month in taxes for that basic coverage, or about $2,000 a year. Private health care still does exist north of the border, but as a supplemental option, and a lot of Canadians do buy that. In the United States, our employer-based system varies wildly. We pay premiums every month, and if we need to actually access health care, most of us have to pay hundreds or thousands out of pocket before that coverage ever kicks in. eHealthInsurance.com says the average deductible for individual plans is $4,358, $7,983 for a family plan. Let's say your premium is $200 a month. For a family, you are closing in on $10,000 a year before you see any coverage. And that's just what workers pay. On average, U.S. employers pay more than $1,000 per employee. Okay, consequences of the cost. An article in the American Journal of Public Health shows more than 2/3 of all bankruptcies are because people cannot pay their medical bills. Canada does still have that problem too, but to a much lesser degree. 15% of people 55 and older who file for bankruptcy in Canada do it because of medical costs. And like in Canada, most lifetime caps are prohibited by U.S. plans. But before Obamacare, as an example, if you had cancer, they may have stopped paying for your treatment once you hit $1 million. A big thing people talk about with Canadian healthcare is the wait time. And yes, some estimates say it could take 22 weeks to see a specialist after your primary doctor makes a referral. Even just getting an MRI could take a month. In the U.S., it's between 18 and 22 days to see a specialist. In both countries, healthcare costs are rising, but there are a lot of factors that go into that. Popularity for each system also drastically different. In the United States, a Gallup poll shows our healthcare system has an approval at around 38%. In Canada, surveys regularly show approval for the healthcare system is in the 80s. And a recent Nanos poll showed 60% of Canadians are willing to pay even more in taxes for expanded coverage. There are tons of other aspects we don't have time to look into, like prescription drugs and the arguments some make over quality of care, but these are some of the basic numbers and facts that we could dig up when comparing the United States and Canadian healthcare systems.
All right, I hope you guys found that interesting. So everyone in the world doesn't go off of the same healthcare system as we do here in America. So I hope you enjoyed learning about how Canada does their healthcare system. All right. Next, let's review. So, what is one thing I should bring with me to the doctor's office? Should you bring your insurance card, your personal information, or both? That's right, you need both. Good job. What should I do when making my first appointment? Should you hang up? Ask if they accept your insurance, or yell? Good. Ask if they accept your insurance. Will my medical bills cost more or less if I have insurance? They will cost less if you have insurance. Great job, you guys. You've earned a prize. You got 5 stars. All that's left to do is go in and complete your Google Forms questions. Hope you guys have a nice day.